Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody out there doing today? I know I need a haircut and a shave. I'll be doing that sometime this weekend, hopefully. But, I hope you had a wonderful Friday, and if you had to work today, I hope work went well. And if you off today, I hope you had a wonderful start to your weekend. If you're living in the part of the country that's been dealing with this heat wave, I hope you're able to stay cool and hydrated. Where I'm living at, it's been in the 80s and 90s with the humidity is just awful. Uh, Now the other night we did get some rain, but wasn't enough to dampen the drought we're in, and we're currently under a no fire ban. And anyway, I thought I'd get on here and tell y'all about the creepiest experience I ever had deer hunting. Now, in the part of the Alabama I live at, we're pretty close to the Appalachian Mountain. It comes right through here. But and there's some parts of it's got different names that we kind of nicknamed it so everybody knows kind of where you're talking about. I was about 17 at the time, so this was about 2001. Now, I grew up in a family that went hunting and fishing, so this was nothing new to me. Uh, I was 16 before I could ever sit out in the woods by myself, even though there was somebody with me was not far apart from each other. But this one weekend I wanted to go hunting, and at this point my Uncle Leon had a stroke, and he wasn't able to go hunting anymore because even though the right side of his body was still fine, his left arm and left leg, he just wasn't able to get around to be able to go hunting. I understood that. And I forget what my dad was doing at this time. So I was like, I'm going to go hunting. And any good hunter knows you tell people where you're going to be, what time you plan, how long you plan on staying, when you're going to be back, in case something happens. And at this time, we had cell phones, but unlike today where everybody and their grandma has one, back then only like your well-to-do people had it, like your lawyers, your doctors, people who had good paying jobs, you're rich. And even then you were lucky to get, there were some spots you weren't getting real good cell phone reception, but I didn't have a cell phone. But I took a flare gun with me. Stuff that I might need to in case I get stuck out in the woods. And most of your hunters will tell you have a backup weapon for just in case. And I had a 9mm with 2 extra clips with it, just regular old bullets in it. And the gun I was hunting with was a 30-30. And I only carried 21 bullets with it, but you only gonna really need one. But I'm kind of like Bird off of Trimmers. I want to be prepared. So anyway, I was going to this spot behind where the Fackler truck stop is. Some of you that been in my ride-along videos have seen the spot. If we're ever over that way on a ride-along again, I'll do another video on it. But anyway, I went to this one spot that was about a half a mile away from church and where other people are. Man, I could barely see some houses from where I was at. But I got there. But if you know anything about the Appalachian Mountains, you really don't want to be out there by yourself, especially at night. So I waited till it was getting pretty close to sunup to go to this one spot I was going to hunt. I had an active game trail through there. It was close to a creek, and it wasn't very far from where I parked my vehicle. And anyway, I got over there, I got set up. I cleared the spot of leaves. I had a chair I was going to sit in because I wasn't going to sit in the ground. Had one of those camo regular seats. And so anyway, I've always been one of those. If I get comfortable and my belly's full, I'm out like a light. So I sit there. It's probably 2 or 3 hours into the hunt. You know, I had a few come fairly close, but had a couple of does come through. Some had fawns with them. I let them go by. I was hunting for a buck. Now, normally I would have took one of the does, but if I have one that comes through that has a fawn, which is a baby deer, I'll let them live. So, and then we had a spot come through, which is a male deer with only kind of like devil horns poking up. I let him live, let him get bigger, and I fell asleep. And normally, any little noise wakes me up, but we're out in the quiet woods. And when I woke up, it was starting to get dark. And that creepy feeling you get like something's watching you? Well, I had that feeling. I looked around, I couldn't see nothing, but I knew I was being watched. I didn't know by what. And all I had was a 30-30 with 21 bullets, that handgun with altogether 27 bullets, and a David Bowie knife. And I didn't know what it was. Might have been paying attention. I didn't know if it was human, bear, mountain lion, or one of many other creatures out there that are roaming around. But I started making my way back to where the truck was. I probably walked maybe 10 minutes from where the truck was. But the feeling of being watched didn't go away. I could hear something behind me diagonally like it was following. So I'd take a few steps, stop, and kind of scan around the area where it was at with my gun. One of the rules I was taught going hunting, you don't shoot unless you can see what you're shooting at. So I stopped, scanned the area. I couldn't hear whatever it was moving anymore, so I kept going. And finally, I made it back to the truck. Got in there, cranked it up, and right as I was about to leave, I looked up to the right, and there was this big old mountain lion staring right back at me from probably about 50 yards from where I was. And thankfully, I didn't attack or anything, but I've been around animals enough to know that if it wanted me dead, I would have never woke up. And plus, I wasn't around it, and if it had any babies with it, I probably would have been dead. Well, it'll chase you away, and if you're not dumb enough to run away when it's chasing you, you're still messing the babies in, it'll kill you. And if it wanted me for supper, I never would have felt anything. I figure that while I was asleep, it caught my scent. Probably curious in what I was. And was just, kind of watch me, I guess, see what I was going to do. I'm glad and I'm thankful for, wanting interest in killing. Like I say, it's probably more curious than anything. But it was a scary moment. And on my way out, I noticed one of the game wardens was still at the station there. I stopped by. And I was like, well, I didn't kill me a deer, but I was like, there might be something you need to know. That I showed him the area of the map, and I could even point. You could almost see it from the ranger station there. I was like, I just got stalked out of the woods by a mountain lion. I don't know if you need to post something, but it wouldn't hurt to keep an eye out for it. And In the 24 years since then, I think there's been maybe 2 more accounts of somebody seeing one. But they really ain't attacked nobody or their livestock. They mainly stuck to what they could capture in the woods. But it was definitely a scary moment. When you're 17, it really is scary. And, thankfully I grew up and taught, to think before I shot. Because if I would have tried shooting, it could have got a whole lot worse than it was. But anyway, I'm going to do a live tomorrow, so I guess I'll see y'all tomorrow evening.